A very good morning to all of you. I hope I'm visible as well as audible. And good morning, Anonymous. You will have to write down your name and just give me a quick confirmation whether I'm perfectly visible and audible, and then we can start today's session. By the way, if you're meeting me for the very first time, hi, I'm Sukanya and I'm your English trainer. And today we are going to have a power-packed session, a megathon, obviously on the English section, which is fashioned in a way which can cater to AILET as well as SLAT. So we are going to solve some passages together. We are also going to see some questions based on tones. Okay, and welcome everyone. So let me tell you one thing. So if you have already attended one of my sessions before, you might already be aware how do we solve the passages. So I don't generally make you see the passage first. I make you see the questions first so that you can mark your keywords. And that's exactly what you will be doing here as well. I hope everybody here has a rough notebook and a pen so that when you're reading the questions you can at least like write down the keywords that you have come across in the question. Okay, now the keyword that you're going to mark in the question is something that you will be looking out for when you're reading the passage. ठीक है, if I have made myself clear here, please let me know. यहाँ पे कोई भी doubt होगा तो of course I'll be there to clear it out. And secondly, if you come across any difficult vocabulary words, please write down in the chat box. And once I start with the explanation of the passage, I'll also be discussing the meanings. Okay? All good? So far, so good. Give me a thumbs up. Good morning, everyone. For those who are joining us just now, I have already like talked about how we are going to solve the passages together. Questions first, marking the keywords second, then going to the passage, looking out for the keywords, and eventually attempting your questions. ठीक है? And vocabulary words अगर सामने आ रहे हैं तो please put it down in the chat box. So I'm going to show you the very first passage, not the first passage, but the questions which are based on the very first passage. And yeah, this is the screen. So this is the very first question. And if you're smart enough, you will know which keyword to mark. और अगर तुम लोगों को keywords mark नहीं करने आते हैं तो let me like help you with that. So basically keywords are words which kind of stand out in a particular question. That means something that we are looking out for when we are reading the passage. अब यहाँ पे देखो what is notable about the Gotthard base tunnel. That means there are two keywords here. One is what is notable, another one is Gotthard Base Tunnel. So wherever I see the word Gotthard Base Tunnel, I'll be highlighting it in the passage because that's going to take me directly to the answer. Okay? It saves you a lot of time. Please see the question carefully. Once you are done reading the first question, let me know. I'll take you to the second one. Okay. Here is your second question. I hope you have marked your keywords in the second question. The third one. I think a very prominent and direct keyword is given here. Taking you to the next one. Can anybody quickly tell me what is the meaning of unwarranted? Unwarranted assumption. Something that's unwarranted is actually unjustified. Something which can't be justified after reading the passage. So that is your unwarranted assumption. And finally, taking you to the last question. Are we all set to see the passage now? Ready? Exactly, not proven, not stated. बिल्कुल सही. So finally, taking you to the passage now. I hope everybody's done reading the questions once, marking your keywords. So as you can see, the passage isn't the usual length, but always remember, first of all, unpredictability is something that you need to always be prepared for. And secondly, whenever the passages are of this length, they are actually very complicated. So never underestimate a shorter passage, and yeah, give your best. Just because the size of the passage is unusual doesn't really make it easier. Just let me know once you're done reading this passage so that I can take you back to the questions. Okay, I think some of you are already done. And I sure hope that you guys got your keywords in the passage as well. Ready to see the questions again? Okay. So what makes the Gotthard base tunnel so notable? Finally, I've started getting some answers as well. Great. Taking you to the next one. Okay, so many answers, but let's see whether that's correct. Which of the following statements could be considered misleading regarding the purpose of the Gotthard base tunnel? All right, taking you to the next one. Ready? Finally got some answers. Chalo. Now, when it comes to new vocabulary words, most of the times, the consortium focuses on asking you the contextual meaning. And here also, if you might have paid attention, so the word massive has been asked contextually. So contextually का मतलब क्या होता है? How that particular word has been used in the context of the passage. See, a word can have multiple meanings, but you need to find the one which best suits the requirements of the passage. ठीक है? तो यहाँ पे भी you need to be very smart with your contextual vocabulary. और contextual vocabulary हम कैसे समझते हैं? By reading the line above in which the word is given, by reading the same line, and by reading the line below it. ठीक है? So that's how we understand the context of a word. तो एक चीज तो तुम लोगों को समझ में आ ही गई होगी कि this word has been used in a very neutral context. ना इसका positive connotation है, ना negative connotation है, right? चलो, taking you to the fourth one. I think you guys are a little hesitant to mark this one, but don't worry, take your chance. Also, let me know if you are ready to see the last question. And the last question. By the way, guys, please be very careful when you're marking such questions because they have given you several reasons. Now, you need to find the one which is most suitable. That means you need to find the primary reason for building something like Gotthard Pass. So, yeah, do not get misled by supporting evidences in a question such as this. Maybe हो सकता है कि after the explanation you might want to change your answers. Ready for the explanation of the passage? Chalo. All right. I think the passage per se was not that difficult. And if you guys had marked your keywords, you might have got the answers pretty easily. There was, I think, hardly a question or two that was a bit challenging. So हमें यहाँ पे समझ में आता है कि for over 1,000 years, Alps, you might have heard of Alps mountains, they have acted as a barrier to travel as well as trade in Europe. तो एल्प्स जो है जैसे कि हिमालयाज हमारे यहाँ है दे ऑल्सो एक्ट एज अ बैरियर आर एनिमीज कैन नॉट रियली डायरेक्टली अटैक अस द सेम वे यहाँ पे भी एल्प्स माउंटेन्स जो थे इन्होंने एक तरीके से बैरियर की तरह बिहेव किया बहुत टाइम तक एंड ट्रैवल एंड ट्रेड वाज काइंड ऑफ समथिंग विच वाज नॉट वेरी स्मूथ बिकॉज ऑफ दैट ठीक है now the thing is before the European Union removed economic borders अब क्या हुआ the European Union decided that they want to lift the borders so that they can facilitate easy trade and basically उससे पहले कोई ऐसी प्रॉब्लम आती नहीं थी ट्रेड करने में because as you can see here this obstacle had minimal impact यानी कि ये जो Alps acting as a barrier इसका कोई इतना खास इम्पैक्ट नहीं पड़ रहा था ट्रेड पे क्योंकि मोस्ट ऑफ द ट्रेड वाज लोकल ठीक है सो इट वाज डन लोकली However, with the EU's economic integration, जब EU ने डिसाइड किया कि नहीं अब हमें बॉर्डर्स जो है वो लिफ्ट करनी है तो स्विट्जरलैंड सडनली एक्सपीरियंस्ड अ हैवी ट्रक ट्रैफिक एंड उसका कॉन्सिक्वेंस क्या था हमने बॉर्डर्स लिफ्ट कर दिए अचानक से हैवी ट्रक ट्रैफिक हुआ स्विट्जरलैंड में बट उसका कॉन्सिक्वेंस क्या था व्हाट वाज द नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट दैट स्विट्जरलैंड हैड टू अंडरगो कोई मुझे बता सकता है यहाँ पे Now, Switzerland is actually known for its natural scenic beauty, and that is something which got damaged. ठीक है Switzerland is known for its tourism and why it's known for its tourism because of its ethereal beauty ठीक है और इतना heavy truck traffic जब आने लग गया वहां पे तो automatically that got damaged and Switzerland has been designed in a way that promotes tourism rather than commerce so अब तुम ही लोग मुझे बताओ कि what is the main purpose of Switzerland here in this regard is it money trade or is it promoting tourism because of its natural scenic beauty क्या होना चाहिए यहाँ पे सो हम लोगों ने सोचा कि सोल्यूशन जो है वो बहुत ही एम्बिशियस हो सकता है कुछ लोगों के लिए एंड दैट वाज टू बिल्ड अ टनल और वो भी Gotthard Pass Tunnel. So they kind of named it Gotthard Pass Tunnel. Now, what is so special about Gotthard Pass Tunnel is first of all it surpasses Channel Tunnel. ठीक है surpasses का मतलब है जितना बड़ा ये होगा उससे कई बड़ा Gotthard Base Tunnel है. And they have also explained why it is noteworthy. The reason is pretty simple because, first of all, it's the world's deepest tunnel and it lies 1.2 miles below the Alps, and that's what makes it so special. Which also brings me to the very first question. What is so notable about the Gotthard Pass Tunnel? Is it the longest one? Longest की तो बात हुई नहीं थी, deepest की जरूर बात हुई थी. So automatically this will get eliminated. Is it designed exclusively for passenger trains? The thing is, passenger trains के साथ साथ freight trains की भी बात हुई है. So exclusively is a bit too extreme, and that's the reason this will get eliminated. And the answer is option C, which most of you have got right. Right? It is the world's deepest tunnel situated 1.2 miles below the Alps, which can be found very easily in the first paragraph. It connects Switzerland directly to the Channel Tunnel. By the way, कनेक्शन की बात नहीं हुई थी, surpassing की बात हुई थी. It surpasses the channel tunnel. So again, the last one will be eliminated. Now, moving further with the passage, हमें समझ में आया कि drilling through the complex Gotthard Massif. This word is again very crucial because they have asked us the meaning of this. But let's try to understand the context here. So काफी difficult था to actually drill through the complex Gotthard Massif because it required overcoming folded layers of rock. कुछ समझ में आ रहा है massive से related? क्यों इतना difficult था इसको drill करना? Because it was primarily folded layers of rock. बाय द वे अगर हम बात करें मैसिव की तो मैसिव का वैसे जनरली जो मीनिंग होता है वो होता है अ कॉम्पैक्ट ग्रुप ऑफ माउंटेन्स एंड यू ऑलरेडी नो कि माउंटेन्स कैसे रहते हैं दे आर वेरी टफ राइट तो यहाँ पे भी हमें इसी चीज को ओवरकम करना था एंड विच ऑल्सो ब्रिंग्स मी टू अनदर वन ऑफ द क्वेश्चंस what does the term massive refer to in the context of the Gotthard Massif? Does it mean that it is a type of tourist attraction? Then why do we have to overcome it? अगर ये टूरिस्ट अट्रैक्शन है तो वी शुड एक्चुअली प्रमोट मोर टूरिस्ट टू कम टू दिस प्लेस देन यहाँ पे लिखा क्यों था कि ओवरकम करना पड़ रहा है सो ऑटोमेटिकली दिस is negated here. If I talk about the second one, I think, yeah, that kind of makes sense because that's exactly how they have used the word massive to overcome folded layers of rock. So, yes, this is the answer. Okay? A measure of distance in the Alps. Again, we did not really talk about measuring distance when we were talking about drilling through the Gotthard Massif. ठीक है? Drilling में distance का कोई लेना देना नहीं है. So this is unrelated. And the last one, a large truck. Obviously, we are not drilling through a large truck. ठीक है? Because it doesn't really make sense. So eliminated. The answer is option B for question number 3. Now moving further, हमें यहाँ पे समझ में आता है कि the benefits of Gotthard Pass Tunnel are going to be massive. बहुत सारे हमें benefits मिलने वाले हैं once we have built this tunnel. The first one is trucks will be replaced by fast freight trains. देखो ट्रक्स की वजह से हो रहा था ट्रैफिक जैम की वजह से ऑब्वियसली हर चीज डैमेज हो रही थी डिस्ट्रॉय हो रही थी एंड वी नीड टू ओवरकम दैट सो इसी के लिए इन लोगों ने फास्ट फ्राइट ट्रेन्स लाई Now, this is also going to help us reduce fuel consumption, which in turn is going to help us minimize pollution in that particular area. Also, it will help us preserve the scenic Gotthard Pass for tourism, which is kind of the main aim of building Gotthard Pass Tunnel. ठीक है उसके अलावा हमें पता चलता है हाई स्पीड पैसेंजर ट्रेन्स के बारे में नाउ दे आर गोइंग टू ट्रैवल एट 155 miles per hour and that's obviously going to boost the economy because people would be definitely interested in taking such fast passenger trains now इसकी वजह से एक चीज तो ensured है that it is going to reap I would say long term benefits for the country in terms of tourism for both trade and tourism ठीक है now I'm taking you to question number 2. We have already answered question number 1. Question number 2 here is talking about which of the following statements could be considered misleading regarding the purpose of the Gotthard Base Tunnel. पहली बात तो मुझे ये बात बताओ कि when we are constructing Gotthard Base Tunnel, what exactly is in our mind? Is it to smoothen the process of tourism or is it to create more obstacles for tourism? क्या हम ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम्स क्रिएट करने के लिए गॉटहार्ड पास टनल बना रहे हैं या हम इसलिए बना रहे हैं सो दैट हमारी प्रॉब्लम्स जो है वो ईज आउट हो जाए तो आई थिंक दैट काइंड ऑफ आंसर्स योर क्वेश्चन. व्हाई? बिकॉज इसमें जो भी चीजें फायदे वाली हैं वो हमारे काम की हैं, और जो भी चीज नुकसान वाली है that is something which is going to be our answer, because that is going to be misleading, right? So let's see the first one. The tunnel facilitates faster freight transport, promoting economic efficiency. Yes. Not really misleading, because that's something which is very directly given here. ठीक है? Fast freight trains, reducing fuel consumption, preserving the scenic Gotthard pass for tourism. Then, is the tunnel going to serve as a barrier for tourism or going to solve the problem? Is it going to be a facilitator for tourism or a barrier? Now, this is something which you need to answer. Also, let's see option C. The tunnel reduces reliance on local trade routes. Yes, because they have intentionally introduced high power passenger trains as well. So this is true, because we are not going to rely on our local, I would say, routes, local trade routes, because now we are going to take help of the trains. Okay, so this is also true. The last one, the tunnel enhances the preservation of scenic mountain routes, very directly given in the last paragraph. So again, yes. So the only thing that is not serving the purpose of this tunnel is option B. It's not really a barrier, it's actually a facilitator. इसकी वजह से तो ट्रेड जो है वो और भी ज्यादा स्मूथ हो जाएगा, ना कि हर्डल आएगा. So moving forward to the next one, we have already answered this one. Based on the passage, which statement reflects an unwarranted assumption? I already told you unwarranted means unjustified, something that cannot be justified from the passage. So what do you guys think? I think this was one question where people made mistakes. क्या तुम लोगों को पैसेज पढ़ के ये समझ में आया है that the tunnel's construction is actually going to encourage further economic integration within Europe? Easy trade, easy, I would say, transportation. So इन सारी चीजों से क्या होगा? Of course, it is going to promote economic integration within Europe. ठीक है? जब रोड्स हमारी बन जाती हैं और या तो फिर हमारे पास बेटर ट्रांसपोर्टेशन मेथड्स होते हैं, तो ऑटोमेटिकली द ट्रेड इज समथिंग व्हिच गेट बूस्टेड, एंड दैट्स एग्जैक्टली व्हाट वी आर गोना सी हियर. सो this is not an unwarranted assumption. This is actually an assumption that we can see in the passage. ठीक है? Then let's talk about the last one. The tunnel represents a successful compromise between commerce and tourism. Yes, the primary reason to build Gotthard Pass Tunnel was to, first of all, maintain and promote tourism, because that will keep the scenic beauty intact. And secondly, हम इतने easy ways देंगे कि उससे trade बहुत smooth हो जाएगा. So commerce and trade के बीच में एक proper compromise हो रहा है यहाँ पे. We have kind of found the balance that we were looking for. So this is also an assumption. Now let's see option C and B. The introduction of fast freight trains will inevitably lead to reduced truck traffic. Don't you think कि हमने जब trains वहां पे इंट्रोड्यूस करवाई, फास्ट फ्राइट ट्रेन्स, जो कि पैसेज में भी दिया हुआ है, that fast freight trains will replace trucks. इससे एक तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल फ्यूल कंजम्पशन जो है वो रिड्यूस हो जाएगा, एंड सेकेंडली इट विल हेल्प अस मेंटेन द ब्यूटी ऑफ द प्लेस. ठीक है? सो दैट काइंड ऑफ हेल्प अस फाइंड this also as an assumption, क्योंकि अगर हम फास्ट फ्राइट ट्रेन्स को यहाँ पे इंट्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं तो ऑटोमेटिकली it leads to reduced truck traffic, because people will rely more on the freight trains now instead of the trucks. अपना सामान वो freight trains के थ्रू भिजवाना पसंद करेंगे. And the only thing that is left here is this, which is the answer also. The scenic beauty of the Gotthard Pass will remain unaffected by increased traffic. अच्छा, We did try to find ways to mitigate the traffic problem. बट क्या आपको पैसेज पढ़ के वैलिडेशन मिलता है, कोई अश्योरेंस मिलती है कि आने वाले समय में गॉटहार्ड पास इज गोइंग टू रिमेन अनअफेक्टेड? कुछ भी नहीं होगा, उस पर फर्क ही नहीं पड़ेगा ऑफ इंक्रीज ट्रैफिक। क्या कहीं पे भी वैलिडेशन मिला था इस चीज का पैसेज पढ़ के? सो बस दैट काइंड ऑफ गिव्स यू योर आंसर। We did not get any sort of assurance. ये जरूर है कि हम कोशिश पूरी कर रहे हैं कि ट्रैफिक ज्यादा ना हो, but that it's going to remain unaffected is something which is far fetched. ठीक है? So that's the reason B is the answer. And the last one, which of the following best summarizes the goal of constructing the Gotthard Pass Tunnel? And the keyword here was summary. Secondly, goal of constructing the Gotthard base tunnel. ठीक है, क्या गोल था? To improve the chaotic scene of freight movement through the Alps. देखो बहुत सारी चीजें हैं which come very close to the real answer, but you need to be smarter than that. मैंने क्या बोला था कि do not get lost because some options are trying to mislead you. So इस चीज का डिस्कशन डेफिनेटली हुआ था to improve the chaotic scene of freight movement through the Alps. But was it the only reason जिसकी वजह से गॉटहार्ड बेस टनल बना था? Similarly, even if I talk about this one, reduce traffic congestion on mountain roads. This is also something which is discussed in the passage. To enhance the local trade scene with better connections. This is also something which is discussed. So वैसे देखा जाए तो चारों के चारों ऑप्शंस ही सही लग रहे हैं. But what is the primary reason? Why is Switzerland famous? अब तुम ही लोग मुझे इस चीज का आंसर बताओ. कौन सी प्रॉब्लम हमें सॉल्व करनी थी? And that's the reason we constructed Gotthard Base Tunnel. We were trying to keep the natural beauty, क्योंकि consequence क्या था उस चीज का? We were trying to maintain the natural beauty of the region for tourism. And these are all, I would say, subplots, sub reasons, subordinate reasons which were discussed. Freight trains, traffic congestion, local trade scene. This is something which will happen if I maintain the beauty, because otherwise people would not be interested to come to Switzerland in the first place. ठीक है? So the answer is B. Very good, you guys. I think your name is Navatika. Am I pronouncing it right? Anamika, Sefi, you guys have answered it correctly. Anonymous as well. Now moving to the next passage. The next passage is again in a very different format. It's in a format of dialogue between two people. Although the dialogue is pretty free flowing, तुम्हें बहुत easily समझ में आ जाएगा. But before that, I'll be making you see the questions. Ready to see the next question? Taking you to the next question now. Next question now. Ninth one. And the last one. Are you guys ready to see the passage now? Shall I take you to the passage? Okay. Let me know if you want me to change the slide. All right. Is everybody done reading? Just write next once you are done reading this. Ready to see the first question? And also one more question. So you guys have read this passage now. What was actually the tone throughout of the customer sales representative? Like, was he harsh? Was he aggressive? Was he talking back? Was he polite? And was he supporting enough to the customer? So, what exactly can you get? Can you pick after reading the passage? Customer sales, he's a service representative. How is he behaving in general? Taking you to the first question now. So I think if you already know the way this customer service representative is talking, you will get the answer very easily of the first one. Polite and very supportive. Exactly. Taking you to the next question now. Taking you to the next one now. In this particular question, two of the options are pretty much similar, only the way they have been worded is a little different. So वो चीज please देखना when you are trying to mark the answer of this one. Two of the options are kind of similar, and that's why they'll get eliminated in the first go. Ready to see the next? Chalo. Taking you to the ninth one now. Anybody who knows the meaning of the word deferred? And the last question. Now, while answering this question, be mindful that it has to be directly connected to the initial inquiry, which is related to the bill dis- discrepancy. Otherwise, the option will not really make sense. यहाँ पे जो बिलिंग में इरेगुलरिटी है उससे डायरेक्टली कनेक्ट करना है कि what is that one question which has been omitted which actually should have been asked. Chalo, I'm taking you to the passage now. I hope everybody is done reading the last question as well. Passage बहुत ही easy था, to be very honest. It's a very free flowing conversation that's happening between this customer service representative and Mr. Peters. Now, Mr. Peters has actually made this call because he sees some irregularity in his bill. So usually he gets an average of $50 per month. But the thing is, he hasn't done anything unusual in this month. तो अचानक से bill 3 times jump कैसे कर गया? And that's the reason why he makes this call to the customer service representative. Now the thing is, as we can see, सबसे पहली बात तो वो से बहुत अच्छे से पूछता है कि first of all, he apologizes for the inconvenience, and then he talks about why is Mr. Peters so suspicious about this overcharge. तो वो बताते हैं कि it's a massive jump, it's a 3 times jump, and that's the reason, and there's nothing unusual that has happened. So he kind of supports him by saying, yeah, that certainly does seem anomalous. Anomalous का मतलब होता है unusual, कि जब आप कुछ भी extra use नहीं कर रहे हो तो अचानक से bill कैसे jump कर रहा है. ठीक है, and that's why he says that I will ask you a few diagnostic questions, some questions which are needed to be asked so that he can solve the problem in a much better way. तो वो बोलता है सबसे पहले तो कि आपका बिल जो है एवरेज बिल वो $50 है, एंड हैज इट बिन कंसिस्टेंट ओवर रीसेंट मंथ्स. ठीक है, तो वो बोलता है यस, which we get to know here. It's been pretty steady. फिर वो बोलता है कि has there been any deviation in usage? क्या आपने कोई नए appliances, कोई नई चीज यूज करना स्टार्ट की? तो उसने बोला no, nothing at all, just an ordinary month. फिर वो बोलता है कि ठीक है, अगर ऐसा कुछ है तो then this discrepancy does indeed warrant further scrutiny. That means I'll have to look into the matter. ठीक है, अब देखो, there are only as many powers in the hands of a customer service representative. वो सिर्फ आपको बातें करके प्रॉब्लम का सोल्यूशन ढूंढ सकता है, बट द थिंग इज अगर कोई टेक्निकलिटी में प्रॉब्लम है तो देन ही विल ऑब्वियसली हैव टू, आई वुड से, इन्वॉल्व सम अदर पर्सन, जैसे कि एक टेक्नीशियन. एंड दैट्स द रीजन ही सेज दैट देन आई विल हैव टू, you know, hook you up with a service representative who is going to come and check your meter. And for that, I need to confirm your address. So last question में बोला गया था कि directly asking you about your account details. So he does ask directly about the account details. Many people chose D as the answer. ठीक है, तो वो यहाँ पे पूछ रहा है आपसे. सबसे पहले तो उसने एड्रेस पूछा, then he also asked the phone number. ठीक है, and you might have also seen यहाँ पे उसने उसका अकाउंट नंबर भी पूछा था. So now moving forward, we get to know that yeah, this customer service representative, he's very compliant, and he says yes, I have noted everything and we are going to soon resolve your problem. If there is any other further issue, please let me know. वो बोलता नहीं, मुझे इसके अलावा कोई इशू नहीं है. And then he asks a pretty basic question कि कब तक ये प्रॉब्लम रिजॉल्व हो जाएगी. So this guy ensures कि within the time span of 48 hours, our technician will be there and we will update you with whatever happens, with whatever new information that we get to know. And बस यहाँ पे बात खत्म हो जाती है. As we can see, it was a very polite conversation throughout. Now, question number 6. Why might Mr. Peters believe the issue lies with big city electricity rather than his own usage? सबसे पहले तो यहाँ पे देखो, Mr. Peters has confirmed that his electricity meter is faulty. क्या उन्होंने खुद से ही कंफर्म कर दिया था कि मेरे इलेक्ट्रिसिटी मीटर में कुछ प्रॉब्लम है? नहीं. तो फिर वो कॉल करते ही क्यों? वो तो सिर्फ डायरेक्टली बता देते कि माय इलेक्ट्रिसिटी मीटर इज फॉल्टी, कम एंड चेक इट. सो दिस was not mentioned. Mr. Peters was reassured by the representative that no change in usage could cause this increase. The thing is, if he had been reassured by the representative, then why would he think that the problem lies with big city electricity? अगर सामने वाले ने आपको ऑलरेडी रीअश्योर कर दिया है तो आपको उसमें प्रॉब्लम थोड़ी ना दिखेगी फिर. So again, this will be eliminated. And secondly, the representative did not really try to reassure him. He genuinely asked what the problem is and he genuinely tried to help him and assist him. Then, Mr. Peters has been consistent in his usage and assuming the company is at fault. इसी की वजह से तो उन्होंने कॉल किया था कि मेरा जो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी यूसेज है वो बिल्कुल सेम है जो महीनों से चल रहा है. There is nothing unusual that has happened, and then suddenly there has been this jump in the bill, and that's the reason I'm calling you कि कुछ प्रॉब्लम हो सकती है. And this is our answer. Mr. Peters mentioned his meter readings had been irregular, whereas we get to know after reading the passage that his meter readings has been very regular throughout these months. So moving forward, the next one. Based on the representative's responses, what could be inferred about the standard protocol for dealing with billing discrepancies? जब भी ऐसी billing irregularities होती हैं, तो एक general protocol follow किया जाता है by the organization. So as you can see, क्या तुम लोगों को कहीं से भी ऐसा पता चला that this particular organization, Big City Electricity, prioritizes meter inspections over internal system checks? कि मेरे लिए ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है मीटर इंस्पेक्शन? क्या सबसे पहला जो मेरा सोल्यूशन होगा किसी प्रॉब्लम का, वो क्या मैं यही बोल दूंगी कि नो नो आई विल सेंड अ टेक्नीशियन एंड ही इज गोइंग टू सी वेदर देयर इज अ प्रॉब्लम, और विल आई ट्राई टू टॉक इट आउट एंड सी इफ आई कैन फाइंड द सोल्यूशन एज अ कस्टमर सर्विस रिप्रेजेंटेटिव? बताओ। जब तक आई वुड से बहुत ज्यादा जरूरत नहीं होती है, तब तक टेक्नीशियंस या दूसरी पार्टी को इन्वॉल्व नहीं किया जाता है। ठीक है। सेकेंडली यहाँ पे बोला गया है प्रायोरिटाइजिंग, दैट मीन्स बिग सिटी इलेक्ट्रिसिटी प्रेफर्स मीटर इंस्पेक्शंस ओवर एवरी अदर थिंग. So again, this is something which is something which we cannot gather after reading the passage, that they are prioritizing one thing over the other. Secondly, did we talk about refunds anywhere? क्या कहीं पे भी refunds की बात हुई? So something which hasn't been stated is something which can definitely not be the answer. ठीक है। refunds की तो बात बाद में ही होगी, once the meter has been checked, once the problem has been resolved. Then big city electricity follows a step by step approach. Yes, 100%. सबसे पहले तो उसने query जानी. He tried to assist him. Then when the query was beyond his, I would say, periphery, then he decided that some other party has to get involved, which is a technician. And the technician is soon going to solve the problem. So yes, it's a step by step method to solve a problem. And the last one is, क्या big city electricity ने पहले से ही assume कर लिया था कि most billing errors are caused by customer miscalculation, कि गलती तो हमारे कस्टमर की होती है, हमारी गलती कभी नहीं होती है? So after reading the passage, I think it was pretty clear that they were not really trying to pin the problem on their customer. So again, eliminated. Question number 8. What would be the most unexpected outcome after the technician checks Mr. Peters' bill? देखो, मैंने कॉल इसलिए किया क्योंकि my bill has irregularities. ठीक है। सो कुछ चीजें हैं जो तो होनी ही वाली है, कुछ एक्सपेक्टेड चीज है। पहली एक्सपेक्टेड चीज तो ये रहेगी कि द मीटर रीडिंग विल बी करेक्ट। ठीक है। हो सकता है एक एवरेज बिल आ गया होगा एंड दैट्स द रीजन द मीटर रीडिंग इज करेक्ट एंड द बिल विल बी जस्टिफाइड। तो ये तो एक्सपेक्टेड सी चीज है। ठीक है। ये हो सकता है। And I also talked about how two options are similar. It's just the way they have been phrased, which is a little different. अगर हम ये दोनों ही options को देखें, the meter malfunctioned and Mr. Peters was overcharged as a result. ये तो Mr. Peters को already ही लग रहा था कि उस बिल या मीटर में उसमें कुछ प्रॉब्लम है. सेकेंडली अगर हम यहाँ पे भी देखें, द बिलिंग सिस्टम हैड अ ग्लिच. इट्स काइंड ऑफ रेफरिंग टू द सेम थिंग, दैट द प्रॉब्लम लाइज विद बिग सिटी इलेक्ट्रिसिटी. या तो मीटर में कुछ डिफॉल्ट है या तो बिलिंग सिस्टम में कुछ डिफॉल्ट है. ठीक है. सो यहाँ पे ये दोनों ही ऑप्शंस विल बी एलिमिनेटेड बिकॉज दे आर प्रीटी मच द सेम ऑप्शंस. ठीक है. बात ये है कि ये अनएक्सपेक्टेड क्यों नहीं है, क्योंकि मैं अगर किसी बिग सिटी इलेक्ट्रिसिटी को कॉल कर रही हूँ तो मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है पहले से ही कि कुछ प्रॉब्लम है मेरे मीटर में या आपके बिलिंग सिस्टम में. तो ये मेरे लिए अनएक्सपेक्टेड नहीं है. दिस इज समथिंग विच आई हैव एक्सपेक्टेड. ठीक है. इवन दिस इज समथिंग विच आई हैव एक्सपेक्टेड कि हो सकता है कि मेरा बिल ही उतना आया हो. द ओनली थिंग दैट विल नॉट बी एक्सपेक्टेड इज दिस वन, दैट द टेक्नीशियन फाइंड्स दैट द मीटर वाज टैम्पर्ड विथ. कि इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि there has been an interference, some intruder has come and tampered with the meter and that has caused a misreading. यहाँ पे ना मिस्टर पीटर्स इन्वॉल्व है ना बिग सिटी इलेक्ट्रिसिटी इन्वॉल्व है. यहाँ पे कोई थर्ड पार्टी ही इन्वॉल्व है. So this is something which is going to come across as unexpected. ठीक है. So that's the reason B is the answer. Most people chose C, right? But I hope you have understood why C is not the answer. Moving forward to the next one, what most likely indicates that the customer service representative expected the issue to be resolved externally outside of direct customer service? तो ये कैसे समझ में आता है कि ये issue जो है वो externally ही resolve हो पाएगा? When he actually suggests that we are going to send you our technician who's going to come and see your meter. So ये हमें एक ही option में मिलता है, which is again option B. The representative mentioned that the technician would inspect the meter. That is how we are taking it outside. ठीक है? Now the thing is, when I talk about the representative deferred का मतलब होता है postponed. After seeing the entire conversation, did you think that he is trying to postpone it to the billing department and not trying to take the responsibility? After reading the passage, I think this representative sounds very accountable and he takes full responsibility. So D तो नहीं हो सकता है. क्या representative ने पहले ही assume कर लिया था कि मिस्टर पीटर्स ही गलत है and he had understood his bill, कि starting में ही उन्हें reject कर दिया ये कि नहीं आपने ही कुछ गलत सोचा है? ऐसा तो बिल्कुल भी नहीं हुआ था. And A1, the representative suggested Mr. Peters would need to verify his bill after a system audit. This is something which is not mentioned in the passage. Once the system audit is done, you will have to verify your bill. So answer is B. 10th one, what critical detail does the customer service representative omit? देखो इसमें दो options तो बहुत easily eliminate हो गए होंगे. The first one is option A, asking about any recent changes in the household. क्योंकि ये this is something which was asked by the representative कि क्या आपने अपने consumption patterns में कुछ change किया है कि suddenly you've started using maybe another AC, another appliance and that's the reason you have seen this irregularity. तो ये तो question उन्होंने पूछा ही था representative ने. ठीक है. If I talk about option D, addressing Mr. Peters account history directly, तो मैंने तुम लोगों को पहले ही बता दिया उसने account number पूछा था. He also confirmed the address and the phone number. So he did ask this information very directly. It was explicitly given in the passage. तो ये भी eliminate हो जाएगा. And most of you, I think, might have gotten confused between option B and C. तो अगर हम option B और C को देखते हैं, so which one is more relevant to us in terms of the billing discrepancy? मतलब कि मुझे अगर प्रॉब्लम आ रही है एज अ कस्टमर तो मुझे इस क्वेश्चन को पूछना ही चाहिए एज अ रिप्रेजेंटेटिव टू द कस्टमर. अब यहाँ पे अगर तुम लोगों ने ऑप्शन बी चूज किया होगा, इंक्वायरिंग अबाउट मिस्टर पीटर्स प्रीवियस इंटरैक्शंस विद द कंपनी, इज दिस क्वेश्चन डायरेक्टली रिलेटेड टू द प्रॉब्लम दैट आई एम फेसिंग? कि क्या आपने हमारे कंपनी में पहले भी किसी कस्टमर सेल्स रिप्रेजेंटेटिव से बात की थी? इससे क्या मेरे प्रॉब्लम का सोल्यूशन मुझे मिल जाएगा? So although this might look like a very tempting option, it is not directly related to my problem. And that's the reason this should be the answer. Confirming the billing period in question. ये question उस sales representative को पूछना चाहिए था कि ऐसा तो नहीं है कि आपने 2-3 महीने से bill नहीं pay किया, which he did not ask, which he omitted. And that's why option C is the answer. Is there anybody who has got all of them correct or 4 on 5? Do let me know in the chat box. By the way, the next 3 questions that you are going to see after this, they are based on tones. And yeah, I hope you are ready to see them. Four on 5, great score. Good. Well done. I hope you get this one right, by the way. And Do let me know if you know all the meanings of the tones which are given here. किसी को सारे words का meaning already पता है या should I help you with it once you are done reading? If you're done reading the question and if you want me to discuss the meanings of these words, I can. ठीक है. I think the problem is with the first one and the second one. Incendiary. Incendiary का मतलब होता है when somebody provokes you to do something rebellious. Somebody instigates you to rebel or revolt against somebody. ठीक है? That means to provoke. And lampooning, by the way, lampooning is just another word for satire. Satire क्या होता है? Any idea? You guys might have seen newspaper cartoons where the caricatures are made, usually about political leaders or important people in the society, और उन पे मजाक उड़ाया जाता है. So usually जो satire होता है, it's pointed at people who hold important positions in the society, who are I would say subjected to make a difference in the society, but these people turn out to be corrupt. ऐसे लोग जो होते हैं वो करप्ट रहते हैं और वो अपना काम सही से नहीं करते, तो उनपे आप बोल सकते हो मजाक उड़ाया जाता है उनका, या कोई चीज जो सही तरीके से नहीं हो रही. And yeah, sarcasm is actually a part of satire. So the people who are thinking that the answer is humorous, क्या यहाँ पे बहुत हंसी आ रही थी after reading this? Was he trying to crack jokes at the expense of the celebrity chef? So let's try to understand what this passage is trying to imply. तो हमें पता चलता है कि there is this renowned celebrity chef जो कि he is well known for his culinary masterpieces. काफी अच्छा cook है वो, and he has recently announced his latest venture, and he has started a line of gourmet food, dog food. Okay, to be very precise. Now the thing is, apparently यहाँ पे जो हमारे furry friends है, furry friends का मतलब होता है our dogs. ठीक है? They also deserve the same kind of culinary sophistication as we mere mortals do. जैसा खाना हम खाते हैं हमारे डॉग्स को भी उतना ही अच्छा खाना मिलना चाहिए. एंड द राइटर काइंड ऑफ अग्रीज विद इट. हाँ ठीक है, अच्छा खाना तो उन्हें भी मिलना चाहिए. ठीक है, लेकिन फिर वो बोलता है while I'm sure the dogs will appreciate the organic ingredients, मतलब कि काफी अच्छी तरीके से इस डॉग फूड को बनाया गया है. So the dogs are definitely going to appreciate the organic ingredients, but he definitely wonders whether they will be able to appreciate the subtle nuances. Nuances का मतलब होता है intricacies. Whether they'll be able to appreciate the subtle taste, the flavors of the food, because after all they are dogs. तो वो बोलता है कि मेरे हिसाब से सिंपल कैनाइन फ्रेंडली मील ज्यादा यहाँ पे सूटेबल होती इंस्टेड ऑफ कुकिंग समथिंग 5 स्टारिश. ठीक है, क्योंकि डॉग्स को कुछ नहीं समझ में आएगा द फ्लेवर ऑफ ट्रफल इन्फ्यूज्ड किबल. They do not know how expensive a truffle infused kibble is. They will not be able to appreciate it. So the answer is nobody is trying to provoke anybody. ये पढ़ के बहुत तेज तेज जम के हंसी भी नहीं आ रही है. So answer is option B. And he was obviously not getting critical because he did not really use harsh terminology. ठीक है, अगर वो ये बोलता कि क्या बकवास डॉग फूड है ये, तो वो क्रिटिसाइज होता. बट यहाँ पे he did not really use such harsh words. So the answer is lampooning. He is trying to, you know, आप बोल सकते हो sarcastically remark at the, gourmet level, five-star level food that is meant for dogs. ठीक है? And yes, moving forward to the next one. So I think somebody wants me to suggest a book, right? That too a fictional book. Are you going to write the exam this year or next year? You can start with something more manageable. Go for Tuesdays with Maury. You can even go for Before the Coffee Gets Cold. Done? And I think some of you are ready with your answers. So we get to know about this new fitness craze that everybody is talking about, and that is the benefits of meditation. हमेशा से हम सुनते आ रहे हैं कि there are multiple benefits of meditating. It's obviously said to reduce stress. आप meditate रोज करोगे तो stress levels आपके जो रहेंगे वो बहुत manageable, balanced रहेंगे. It will also help you improve focus and it will even boost creativity. ठीक है, ये सारी चीजें I think even without this text also वी आर अवेयर ऑफ. ठीक है, अब आगे चल के पता चलता है, वो बोलता है आई कांट वेट टू ट्राई इट. ठीक है, he shows his enthusiasm about this new craze. बोलता है as soon as I finish scrolling through my social media feed and checking my email for the 100th time today. So basically, when I am interested in something, I will engage in that as soon as possible. I will not try to delay it by being on my phone for the 100th time. Right? तो यहाँ पे आंसर क्या होना चाहिए? पहली बात तो व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ ग्रिम? ग्रिम का मतलब होता है सुपर सीरियस, इवन वरीइंगली सीरियस. तो क्या यहाँ पे आपको ऐसा लग रहा है that the writer is super serious that now he is going to start meditating from the next moment itself? Yes, of course, I have read A Thousand Splendid Suns as well as The Kite Runner, but it's gonna break your heart, so I did not want to suggest that in the first go. And let's also talk about what is sanguine. Sanguine is another word. By the way, anybody who already knows the meaning of sanguine here? किसी को इसका meaning पता है? I'm giving you a moment to think about it. Sanguine is just another word for optimistic or hopeful. So does the writer look hopeful about himself? कि अब तो बस उसकी लाइफ चेंज होने वाली है आफ्टर स्टार्टिंग दिस न्यू फिटनेस क्रेज? ऐसा लगता है कि वो कुछ करने वाला है एक्चुअली? नहीं, आफ्टर रीडिंग द पैसेज इटसेल्फ वी गेट टू नो दैट ही इज जस्ट इंटरेस्टेड इन इट, आई वुड से इन अ सुपरफिशियल वे. ठीक है, if he would have been into the practice, he would have started it already. The answer is ironical. द आयरनी इज एक तरफ वो फिटनेस क्रेज के बारे में बात करता है और दूसरी अगर आप देखो कंट्रास्टिंग सिचुएशन दैट ही इज जस्ट relaxing in his couch using the phone for the 100th time. So that is ironical. Expect the unexpected. And the last word which is somber. Somber का मतलब होता है dull, sad, serious. So ऐसा कुछ तो नहीं था यहाँ पे, right? And the last question for the day. I hope you guys are ready for it. Now, the cue here is look at the terminology, look at the harsh language that the writer has used. It's bound to, make the people aware about the situation. Secondly, it's bound to hurt somebody. So, as we can see, disgrace. He calls the new city park a disgrace. It's a barren wasteland. That means there is nothing that can actually be of use on this new city park. ठीक है, it has broken equipment, it has overgrown weeds. That means it's very conveniently neglected. कोई इस पे ध्यान ही नहीं दे रहा है. ठीक है, the city council should be ashamed. That means they are so full of themselves that they are not taking care of something as crucial as the new city park. पहली बात तो they are obviously engaging in a substandard piece of garbage on the obviously they have kind of created a substandard piece of garbage for the public. Look at the negativity in the tone of this writer. It's a slap in the face of the taxpayers. Taxpayers तो बेवकूफ हैं जो इतना पैसा दे रहे हैं उसके लिए उसके बदले में हमें ये बेकार सा पार्क मिल गया है. They should tear it down and start over from scratch. Again, very extreme opinions. इस चीज को तो तोड़ देना चाहिए और फिर से नए सिरे से इसको बनाना चाहिए. So automatically the answer is what? Critical. He is harshly criticizing the city council. इतने extreme negative words जब उसने use किए, harsh criticism ही तो हो रहा है. Disparaging का मतलब होता है to belittle someone. I'm sure that you guys got confused between these two. To belittle someone का मतलब ये होता है to be condescending, to make someone feel inferior. तो क्या यहाँ पे this was the tone? If it would have been about a person, then still option B would have made sense. But we are talking about the city council, which is an authority. ठीक है? So this is actually a part of this here. अगर हम किसी person के बारे में बात कर रहे होते तो belittling ज्यादा suitable होता. ठीक है? Now light hearted तो definitely नहीं था. इतने negative words use करके आप बोल रहे हो कि light hearted है. So no. And vengeful का मतलब है to seek revenge. Was he trying to seek revenge? कोई बदला लेने की कोशिश कर रहा था यहाँ पे? Obviously no. And yes, when I talk about, studying tones, the most important thing here is you need to start creating clusters. Clusters in the sense कि, for example, there is this tone humor. Humor में 4, 5, 6, 7 tones आ जाती हैं जैसे कि irony, light-hearted, sarcasm, satire, sardonic. And that is exactly how you're supposed to study it because they have very minute differences. So वो differences ही पता होने चाहिए कि how does that separate one tone from the other. Similarly, if I talk about anger, ठीक है, तो बहुत सारी चीजें हैं। एंगर में आपका इंडिग्नेशन आ जाता है, एंगर में आपका फ्यूरियस आ जाता है। तो आपको पता होना चाहिए व्हाट्स द डिफरेंस बिटवीन दीज टर्मिनोलॉजी, these words which are so similar to each other and yet they are a little different from the others. ठीक है, बिकॉज वो जनरली आपको बहुत ही क्लोज ऑप्शन ही देंगे. That's how they are trying to assess you, whether you know the intricacies of these options. So, guys, that's pretty much it from my side. I hope you had a fruitful session today, and I hope you have a great rest of the day. By the way, we have another session coming up, so it's going to start from 9:45, I guess, 40 or 45. So you've got like 10 minutes break here. And yeah, that's it from my side. Bye bye. See you again. Have a great day and all the very best for your preparation. Signing off. Bye bye.